Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Anusha Soni. The Prime Minister launched a blitzkrieg attack against the TMC government in the state of West Bengal and Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, citing the horrors of Sandeshkhali. The Prime Minister questioned the Bengal government over its failure to serve justice to the women of Sandeshkhali who have made serious allegations of exploitation and sexual assault against the local former TMC leaders. TMC strongman Sheikh Shahjahan, who now stands suspended from the party, was arrested after being on a run for almost 55 days. Presently in police custody, the charges against the TMC leader are serious in nature. They include attempt to murder and dacoity. But he is yet to be charged with sections of sexual exploitation or sexual assault. Certain allegations that have been made in the public domain but are yet to find themselves in an FIR or an investigation against Sheikh Shahjahan. The Prime Minister's sharp attack against the TMC has clearly drawn the battle lines. Sandeshkhali is the biggest political flashpoint. BJP cites systematic exploitation in Sandeshkhali to argue that TMC has not just failed to maintain the law and order, but has also failed to be true to its promises that it made to the women of West Bengal. Well, with its core voter base under a political threat, how will TMC tackle the fiasco of Sandeshkhali? We discuss all these aspects on Plain Speak tonight.
टीएमसी ने बंगाल में अपराध और भ्रष्टाचार का एक नया मॉडल पैदा कर दिया है। अपराधियों को संरक्षण के बदले टीएमसी नेताओं को भर भर के पैसे मिलते हैं। बीजेपी के दबाव में आखिरकार कल बंगाल पुलिस ने आपकी ताकत के सामने झुक करके उस आरोपी को गिरफ्तार करना पड़ा है।
इंडी गठबंधन के बड़े बड़े नेता संदेशखाली पर आंख, कान, मुंह सब ये बंद करके बैठे हैं। टीएमसी ने बंगाल में अपराध और भ्रष्टाचार का एक नया मॉडल पैदा कर दिया है। कांग्रेस के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष कहते हैं, अरे छोड़ो, बंगाल में तो ये सब कुछ चलता रहता है। क्या ये बंगाल का अपमान है कि नहीं है?
Well, Sheikh Shahjahan has been arrested after 55 days, but there are many questions that remain unanswered. Well, first of all, has the TMC government completely failed to maintain the rule of law? They argue otherwise, but if you look at the sort of allegations that have come on record, it only shows that at least in Sandeshkhali, there is enough anecdotal and empirical evidence to argue that the rule of law was not maintained. Why did the administration fail on the women of Sandeshkhali when the law takes it very seriously? What took so long to arrest Sheikh Shahjahan? There were many reasons that were cited, but 55 days. More importantly, it was only after the intervention of the High Court that it seems that the administration swung into action. Moving on, how did Shahjahan manage to flee after the ED raid? He's also accused of obstructing the government officers or the officers who were on public duty. That's one of the charges against him in that FIR. Did the West Bengal police shield Sheikh Shahjahan? That's also something that repeatedly BJP is asking. Politically, it will be interesting to see how it pans out, and that leads us to the point that will we see the Central Bureau of Investigation step into this case. West Bengal government is unlikely to refer this case to the CBI, so the only avenue which is left is that if the judiciary steps in, if there is a PIL or BJP moves the court, and how will TMC fight the battle of political perception? In the run-up to the big Lok Sabha elections, Sandeshkhali has become the big flashpoint. BJP has taken this battle to the nook and corner of the state of West Bengal on those seats. The Lok Sabha seats, clearly, in West Bengal are going to be very, very important for the India alliance. So we talk about this big issue tonight on Plain Speak. Prime Minister's unsparing attack on the TMC government. This is the biggest flashpoint ahead of polls. And how will the TMC fight this battle of perception? Well, we are joined by Anju Balaji, who is an NCSC member. She's with us on the broadcast. Namaskar, Anju Balaji. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. आपसे जानना चाहेंगे, आखिर में वो गिरफ्तारी हुई है जिसका सभी को इंतजार था। 55 दिन लगे उस गिरफ्तारी को होने में, पर क्या आप वेस्ट बंगाल की पुलिस ने जो भी एक्शन लिया है अभी तक, उससे संतुष्ट हैं पूरी तरह से?
बिल्कुल कहेंगे कि संतुष्ट नहीं है, क्योंकि ये जो बहुत देर पहले हो जाना चाहिए था और 55 दिन बीत गए और उसके बाद में आप जगह भी हो, आपने गिरफ्तार किया, तो इसका मतलब ये साफ जाहिर होता है कि वो अपराधी था और आप उसको 55 दिन तक संरक्षण देती रही, आप उनको छुपाती रही, लेकिन आखिरकार सत्य की जीत हुई। और जो लड़ाई हम सीधे कहेंगे, आज माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को मैं बार बार धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ, माननीय गृह मंत्री जी को धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ, माननीय मंत्री स्मृति ईरानी जी को धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ, जिन्होंने जब इसको एक मुहिम बना के स्टार्ट किया और ये हम कमीशन तक भी ये बात आई, और उसमें खासकर मैं मीडिया के भाइयों को, मैंने पहले भी बोला, आप सबको भी बोला कि आपका खासकर धन्यवाद आप सबका है, जिन्होंने इस न्यूज़ को उजागर किया और हम लोगों तक ये न्यूज़ पहुंची। और हमारी कमीशन की टीम और अन्य बहुत सारी टीम वहाँ पे गई हैं। लेकिन जब हम लोग 15 तारीख को वहाँ पहुँचे, मैंने आपसे पहले भी इस बात पे डिस्कस किया था कि जब हम 15 तारीख को पहुँचे, हमें भी रोकने की भरपूर कोशिश की गई, हम लोगों को भी हर तरीके से उन्होंने जो कोशिश हो सकती थी कि हम ना पहुँचे। लेकिन जब हम पहुँचने के बाद में जो हमारी बहनें थी, उन्होंने जो आप बीती बनाई, जो बताई हम लोगों को, और आपके मीडिया के माध्यम से जब पूरे देश ने देखी,
बिल्कुल
देश
बिल्कुल।
के
और
अंदर
जब इस तरह का मुद्दा लोगों के सामने आता है, तभी कभी कार्यवाही होती है, आपने सही कहा। लेकिन आप भी जब वहां गई, आपने महिलाओं से बात की, या हमने जो अपने रिपोर्ट्स में देखा है, हमारी रिपोर्टर भी हैं वहां पर जो कवर कर रही हैं, शेख शाहजहां की सिर्फ गिरफ्तारी हुई है, उनके ऊपर अभी भी कोई रेप या सेक्सुअल एक्सप्लॉयटेशन का मुकदमा पूरी तरीके से या नया मुकदमा दर्ज नहीं हुआ है। पुराने जो चल रहे हैं वो एक अलग बात है। जिन औरतों ने सामने आकर अपनी आपबीती सुनाई है, उनको इंसाफ मिलना कितना ज़रूरी है, एंड मोर इम्पॉर्टेंटली ये आप जिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से हैं या भारत सरकार की जो बाकी दूसरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं, ये कैसे इंश्योर करेंगे कि सिर्फ गिरफ्तारी नहीं, कहीं ना कहीं इंसाफ के इस पूरे प्रोसेस में उनको कहीं ना कहीं हेल्प मिलती रहे?
ये मैं सभी आज अपने देशवासियों को भी बताना चाहती हूँ, आश्वस्त भी करना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि आपके माध्यम से, क्योंकि आप एक एक पहलू को जब लेके आते हैं सामने, और ये सारी जो दुनिया देखती है, उनको भी ये पता चलना चाहिए कि अब इसमें कार्रवाई होगी भी कैसे और करनी भी होगी। सरकार चाहे कितना भी उनको बचाने की कोशिश करे, लेकिन जब हम वहाँ गए थे, जब ये स्टार्टिंग में जब ये हुआ कि ये तो न्यूज़ ही फेक है, और उन्होंने विधानसभा में भी इस बात को बोला कि ये तो प्रोजेक्ट की हुई है, लेकिन जब हम गए और हमें रिटर्न में लेटर मिला है, वो रिटर्न जो लेटर हमारे पास आई है, उसके बाद नोटिस हुआ, नोटिस होने के बाद ही 17 तारीख को उसमें हत्या और जो मर्डर मतलब हत्या का और रेप का जो केस है वो बाद में बढ़ा दिया गया, क्योंकि जो चीज़ें हुई थी उसको उजागर किया नहीं गया था। लेकिन जब महिलाएं हमारे सामने अपनी आपबीती बताई और उन्होंने सारी बात जब हमारे सामने रखी, तो इनको ना चाहते हुए भी जो 17 तारीख को इनको वो करना पड़ा, और वो हत्या और रेप की इन्होंने धारा बढ़ाई। और रही बात इनकी शेख शाहजहां की, 55 दिन आपने बहुत पनाह ले ली, बहुत आप घूम लिए, लेकिन जो सत्यता है वो हमारी बहनें सामने आके अपने जब 164 उनके बयान होंगे, अपने बयान में जब वो बताएंगे, तो ये कैसे उनको झुठला देंगे? क्योंकि सीधी सी बात है, अभी जब गिरफ्तारी को लेके भी बात हुई तो अभिषेक बनर्जी ने सीधे कह दिया कि हाई कोर्ट ने तो उनको गिरफ्तार करने के लिए या कार्रवाई के लिए मना किया है, लेकिन जब 26 तारीख को हाई कोर्ट की सीधे फटकार पड़ती है कि उसको गिरफ्तारी भी होनी चाहिए, और जब हमारे चीफ जस्टिस उसमें वहाँ के राज्यपाल जी वहाँ पे कहते हैं कि हमें आप पूरी वहाँ से खबर दीजिए, नहीं तो 72 घंटे के अंदर आपको फिर रिपोर्ट सबमिट करनी पड़ेगी, और 29 तारीख को गिरफ्तारी होती है। ये एक जीत है उन बहनों की जिन्होंने सच की आवाज़ उठाई, ये जीत है उस पार्टी की जो एक अलख लगा के अपने आप की परवाह ना करते हुए आईसीयू तक भर्ती हो गए। तो इसमें हम सीधे कहते हैं, जो सच की लड़ाई के लिए निकलता है वो इंसाफ दिला के रहता है, और मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि अब ये गिरफ्त में आ गए हैं तो ये छूटने नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि देश पूरा देख रहा है, और देश
अंजू जी, क्या इसमें
जी।
सीबीआई कार्यवाही होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि मसला अभी भी वेस्ट बंगाल पुलिस के पास है? क्या एक निष्पक्ष जांच की उम्मीद की जा सकती है
जी,
वेस्ट बंगाल पुलिस से?
नहीं, बिल्कुल हम लोग उनसे बिल्कुल भी उम्मीद नहीं कर सकते हैं। जिन्होंने 55 दिन लगा दिया उनको सिर्फ महज गिरफ्तारी करने में, तो हमें बिल्कुल भी उम्मीद नहीं है कि वो सही से वर्क करेंगे। और हम चाहते हैं कि पूरी एसबीआई सीबीआई जांच हो, ताकि जांच जब ये उनके पास जाएगी पूरा प्रॉपरली इस पे निगरानी होगी, तभी ही ये नहीं बच पाएंगे।
जी, मेरा निवेदन है, हमारे साथ बने रहिए। आई वांट टू इंट्रोड्यूस अदर गेस्ट्स एज वेल हु आर विद अस ऑन द ब्रॉडकास्ट। मिस्टर गोपाल अग्रवाल, हु इज द नेशनल स्पोक्सपर्सन ऑफ बीजेपी, मोहम्मद तौसीफुर रहमान, who is the spokesperson of All India Trinamool Congress, Saira Shah Halim, who is a noted author and activist, is also joining us on the broadcast. Good evening, all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. We discuss a serious issue tonight. Of course, the Prime Minister has made a blistering attack. Mr. Tauseefur Rahman, sir, I'd like you to open the debate. Anju Balaji ने बहुत सारी बातें बोली. She made her, comments, and the fact that TMC decided to suspend the leader who is under question right now only shows that the party realizes the heinous acts he's been involved into. The million-dollar question is that why did it take an opposition to go to town and this issue to dominate the headlines for more than 55 days for TMC to take action and for the law and order to do its job that it should have in the first place?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
First of all, I mean, it's a news, and I understand you're doing your job as well. And Anjuji, I was hearing Anjuji very patiently, and I didn't understand whether Anjuji is representing NCW or she's representing Bharatiya Janata Dal Party, because she's so angry against Trinamool Congress and she's supporting, and she's very much in favor of Bhajpa कि अगर वो नहीं होते तो आज उनको शायद जस्टिस नहीं मिलता. जस्टिस और इनजस्टिस की बात वो तो लेटर ऑन देखी जाएगी, what is going to happen in Sandeshkhali. But I tell you something, when you talk about 55 days, at least Shahjahan has been arrested. Shibu Hajra is behind the bars. 17 other accused are behind the bars. At least he is not Brij Bhushan, who's roaming like a lion and laughing on Wrestling Federation and laughing on all the women who is a part of Wrestling Federation. Where Sakshi Malik was crying. Where was Anju ji? Where was Rekha ji? ये लोग कहाँ थे, मैडम? मैं इनसे पूछना चाह रहा हूँ. And again, when you come about fact, want to talk about fact, when ED came to West Bengal and they wanted to arrest Sheikh Shahjahan, they went there without any lookout notice. There was an attack. Even I understand, we never supported that. We always said to all the national agencies, there are some sensitive area. If you want to go for a raid, you can always ask help, which is not compiled, which is not compressed, which is not mandatory at all. I understand. But if you want to do a raid, West Bengal police and the state nationalists can always help you. But why the ED asked the court to stop the investigation and it was granted? I can tell you with the summon what is written. Later, when they requested the court to put a stay on the investigation, and it was granted. And then when it was granted, the state machineries had to back out. Just 4 days back, when the court asked to intervene, the state police within 48 hours nabbed Shahjahan and they have put him behind the bars. Now the allegation starts. Now the case will start.
Tausif ji, I have one question, and it's a genuine question, not a rhetorical question.
No. I understand.
No, one question, sir, and then you can continue on your argument. Was there a court order that stopped the West Bengal police from arresting Sheikh Shahjahan, that you were waiting for the oral, observations of the High Court for the police to do its job that it should have in the first place? I have been a student of law, and I don't think there can be any protection that can be granted to any accused who has been, named by several women, saying that we were sexually exploited, there were, labor right exploitations that were done, serious matters that have been brought on record. What kind of court order existed that you had to wait for the Calcutta High Court to do its job?
Let's talk on this. It's a very good question. I totally agree. Now, during an ED arrest, ED officials were hurt in an attack. Okay. ED Deputy Director filed a complaint in Nazat Police Station on the matter and investigation began. Later, they requested the court to put a stay on the investigation. Who requested? The ED requested to put a stay on the investigation and it was granted.
Okay.
Since then, Sheikh Shahjahan was absconding. Later on, this assault, this rape, and all this came in front of everyone.
Okay.
Then, just before 4 days, the court intervened, gave a strict action to the state machinery that you need to arrest Sheikh Shahjahan. But you tell me something, Anushka. The kind of interest, the kind of seriousness. First, I'll tell you one thing. Even Sarah is there. I respect Sarah Shah Halim, and I respect Anju ji as well. Any dignity of any woman is non-negotiable. You cannot negotiate anyone's dignity, especially when she's a female. But you can't manipulate this. I mean, today Narendra Modi, he's talking like, I mean, it's funny what he's doing there. I mean, if we are going to ask
No,
some questions,
no.
I'll tell you something.
Tausif ji.
When
Tausif ji,
women were being
I
targeted,
will ask BJP the question. I will ask BJP the question. The point that you have repeatedly said, that this entire incident is being politicized by the BJP for their advantage. I will ask that question to Gopal Agarwal ji. He is with us on the broadcast. But I asked you a very pointed question. Was there a court order that stopped you from arresting Sheikh Shahjahan?
Yes.
No, there was not. No, there was not.
It was done by ED. There should be no investigation. There should be any investigation with PMLA. PMLA's thing only ED can intervene.
You're absolutely right. It was only for that particular case. It was only for that particular case. It's not an omnibus order. It's not an omnibus order that applies to any new allegation that comes on record. But Gopal Agarwal ji, please come into the discussion. TMC raises certain pertinent points that in BJP rules states as well, there have been many instances that have come on record where women have made certain serious allegations, and these are sitting leaders of the BJP, elected representatives from the BJP, and the BJP has not taken any action. Look, at least the TMC accepted and acknowledged that yes, there was a problem, and they suspended Sheikh Shahjahan. You haven't done that with many leaders who have been equally accused of such heinous offences. Gopal ji.
We have to understand the law and order is the issue with the state. They are responsible for maintaining law and order, women protection, safety of the women, and everything. So it is not the question of how you debate or politically or what, but the question is that Sandeshkhali was an epicenter of such brutality on the women of that place. They had several times complained to the local TMC leaders. They had said, and they were being exploited. And it is 55 days after which this Shahjahan Sheikh was arrested, when it was finally
I'll let you interject, sir. Let him finish his arguments. Let him finish his arguments. Let him finish his arguments. I will allow your interjection.
The thing is,
yes,
is it TMC has done this because they think that BJP at some states have not taken care of the or not taken action? They have done it because of that. They have to make it clear. Are they protecting? We are discussing Sandeshkhali. We are discussing Sheikh Shahjahan's arrest. We are discussing West Bengal brutality on women, their rape, their land grab and other atrocities. So at that point of time, the argument
one at a time
is that
yes.
we have not done this. We have not arrested Sheikh Shahjahan. We have not taken action against Sheikh Shahjahan because
before I bring in Saira Shah Halim into the discussion. Tausif ji,
I have not interjected. The TMC
can I come in now? All right, gentlemen, please allow a moment. Let Saira Shah Halim also make her opening arguments. Gopal ji, I'll come back to you.
I'd like to make it very clear.
All right, one second. Gopal ji, finish your arguments. 30 seconds to you, then I'll go to Saira.
My issue is...
It's very... Let me finish.
So first we have to accept that...
Gopal Agarwal,
accept, TMC people have to accept that they have their own people whom they were giving protection, against whom there were several complaints and serious complaints, and they did not take action.
Point taken, sir. But the question that the TMC was asking you was that does BJP has the moral license and authority to ask that question? I'll come back to you.
Answer to a question is not a question.
I agree. What about cannot be the best defense?
Question is not a question.
What about cannot be the best defense? Saira Shah Halim, make your point.
It's my turn to talk.
Yes, please.
So it is very clear that Sheikh Shahjahan had been evading arrest by both state and central agencies for more than a month. And it's been 55 days that he was on the run. It's taken, so it is evident that he was being protected by the powers to be. I've already said that before. Now, here what is important is to gauge that Shah Jahan's arrest comes 3 days after the Calcutta High Court Chief Justice ordered to add Sheikh Shah Jahan's name to the Sandeshkhali's case. Earlier, his name was not added. Here, we need to understand that we cannot communalize this episode. We need to think in a pragmatic manner that there are women who have been exploited for years. There have been cases
Crime
of
is
land
crime.
grab. There have been
Communalizing
allegations
issue
of
is not the
sexual
issue.
exploitation. So communalizing the issue.
All right,
and
gentlemen,
saying
I
that
believe
Communalizing of the issue
it's
is
not going to help the issue. Here we
well,
need to
communalizing
understand
is
if
political
one impoverished
statement.
women of Sandesh
No,
Khali,
the million dollar question that really comes here is the fact. The million dollar question that really comes here is, and I'll give the last word to the TMC as I wrap up this debate, that sir, the best argument that you have cannot be political whataboutery. You ought to act when all these complaints were earlier made.